In the center of attention today is one of the most sought-after fragrance brands, Parfums de Marly. Let's dive a little bit into its history and, of course, review some of the bestsellers. Parfums de Marly is a luxury fragrance house established in Paris in 2009. The founder, Julien Sprecher, is a businessman with a huge passion for two things: perfumery and history. Eager to marry those two passions, he builds a brand that draws its inspiration from the extravagant and opulent court of King Louis XV of France and names it after the king's residence, Château de Marly. And here you may ask, why King Louis XV in particular? Well, he was at the forefront of the fragrance boom in France of the 18th century. During his reign, perfumes were in extremely high demand. In fact, his court became known as La Cour Parfumée, my French, or the perfumed court. He required a different scent for every room and wanted scents to flow in every fountain. Even his mistress, the famous Marquise de Pompadour, had a yearly budget for perfumes, which was the equivalent of roughly 65,000 American dollars today. Louis XV was also very passionate about racehorses and commissioned his perfumer to create unique scents to celebrate them. This is where the stories come in perfectly together for the Parfums de Marly brand. Take a closer look at the logo. It bears the image of horses of Marly. And what's 1743? Well, it's actually the year when Louis XV commissioned to create a sculpture of those horses to adorn the palace's entrance. What is Parfums de Marly today? It's 7 collections, 2 of which are labeled specifically as masculine and feminine. There is a collection of colognes, there is a Delina trilogy, which is 3 highly popular takes on the classical rose. There is a collection of ambery fragrances called the Metallics. For some reason, I never associate amber with metallics. A collection named Thoroughbreds and Exclusif, which is a collection featuring reinvented versions of 2 most popular scents of the brand. What a narcotic and elegant fragrance. This is a fragrance of a true gentleman who wears like a suit every day, drives a classy, luxurious car, solves big problems during the daytime, and at night he spends his time with his equally intelligent, gorgeous, and classy lady wife. Althair is all about power and romance, firm and romantic character at the same time. It's a woody amber scent that starts with a warm burst of spices, cardamom, cinnamon. I'm smelling a cigarette smoke in this as well, but very, very, very subtle. Althair is immediately sweet. You get a lot of vanilla in here. It's actually the main theme of the fragrance, more like a vanilla pod, very raw, very boozy. And the sweetness actually follows you throughout the entire journey, except in the dry down, it becomes a little bit denser and more balsamic. It's not an innovative fragrance per se. It might remind you of many other perfumes out there. And I'm not even going too far. The first thought that I had was, hey, this smells like Pegasus, another famous scent of the brand, reinterpreted as an amber fragrance, right? However, the appeal of Althair is still there, and at the very least, you get the quality and the balance of a niche composition, which, let's say, its brothers from the more budget-friendly segment cannot always guarantee. Smelling it already. Crisp, fresh, crisp. Actually, it's a phenomenal transformation that this scent offers to you in the first few seconds. The initial kick, literally the first few seconds, to me was a 100% fresh citrus, aromatic, with bergamot, with lavender. But right here, I'm starting to hear some very dry wood, oak moss and patchouli, and a lot of dark green leafy nuances. Generally speaking, I think it's quite fair and safe to say that if you are into dark, woody, slightly spicy, slightly dirty fragrances, this can be up your alley and might actually become one of your new favorites. Beauty. One of the most popular profiles among ladies today, a fruity rose, was actually brought to you by Delina in 2017, if I'm not mistaken. The opening might be very deceiving. It really grabs your attention with a cold, sharp, slightly spicy rose. And on my skin, for example, the edgy spicy nuance stays for a very, very long time, complemented by rhubarb, lychee nuances, and it's almost like the smell of a cold, sparkling rosé. The initial dramatic kick dies down a little bit and gives the way to a more delicate, soft, and sweet floral accord. Peonies, Petalia, and musk make this story much rounder and smoother the longer you wear it. To me, Delina is a representation of a very young, tricky, and sleek femininity with a pretty pink bow on top. Another feminine scent from Parfums de Marly that I want to address in this video is Oriana. And that's for my fruity gourmand fans out there. It's actually described as a millefeuille of flaky sweetness, softness, and sensuality. But to me, Oriana is a raspberry-flavored marshmallow. The creamy lactonic side of this dessert-like fragrance is perfectly balanced by fruity citrus opening, freshness of the orange blossom, and the green nuance of blackcurrant in the heart. Parfums de Marly has a huge base of followers these days, and a lot of people go crazy over their perfumes. I personally believe that the brand has developed a very smart strategy where it basically picks up on the most selling and understandable fragrance profiles from the mass segment and really uplifts them to match the quality standards and the richness and the fullness of a niche fragrance. And this tactic can't be underestimated, at least because of how successful it's been to draw more and more people into the world of niche and exclusive perfumes. What do you think of Parfums de Marly? How did you like its most recent launch, Althair? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like this video, follow Centrique and myself, your stinky teacher, on other platforms. Thank you very much for watching and can't wait to see you in the next video.